Test, test. All right. So let's talk about long-term discipleship. What is all in that phrase?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you about long-term discipleship in the form of a story.
Nice.
So, let's say that this guy's name is Scott. Okay, we have a lot of Scotts around. Our president is Scott, but let's say this guy's Scott. So Scott's 23 years old, and he happens to be working in the office complex that I'm in, and I sort of knew some people around him. I knew some of his the family that he married into, but he was new in town, and I met him. And one day he walks in my office and says, "Hey, do you think that maybe we could spend time together? I've heard that you kind of spend time with men."
So good.
And
the shuffle.
Yeah.
I was wondering if maybe could you? Oh, it's so great.
And so what he was asking was, "Would you disciple me?" Mm-hmm. And so I just started a conversation with him, and started talking to him about his life, and then I really, in a very gentle way, just started talking to him about what it would be and what it wouldn't be, and was he going to be fully committed to it. And so I gave him an assignment. Mm-hmm. At the end of our time, I encouraged him, gave him an assignment, and I told him, don't come back until you have done this. And if you don't want to do it, it's okay.
In that case, is that, hey, memorize a verse, or what's an example?
Yeah, it really that's a really easy way to do it. You could do a lot of things, but that was just would you commit this to memory? Mm-hmm. And so that means he's got to spend some time taking some work and doing it, taking some of his own time. And does he really want to spend time with me?
And he may not. So it's okay with you if he doesn't call you back.
It is, because I don't know what's going on in that man's life. It could be that there's somebody else that's better suited to spend time with him long term.
Yeah. And
it may not be me. Mm-hmm. And I've had those too.
Sure, a lot.
And and then there's also maybe 2 years from now, that very guy is going to come back and you say, can I have another crack at that?
Yeah.
And I've had that too.
Yeah. Yeah, you have the urgency of, we don't know when we're going to die. Jesus could return tomorrow. But you have the patience of, realistically, trees grow slowly. Oak trees are not an overnight plant. So
right.
let's be patient. This is long term. So let's keep going with your story with this guy.
So we started spending time together. And as we spent time together, he started trusting me more, and he shared from his own heart, and I shared from my heart. And we were probably 9 months in, or maybe even over a year in, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to start a men's group. I'm going to start a discipleship group. Would you like to be a part of that?" And he said yes. And so we started this. We started an Every Man a Warrior group, and I got him in there, and he got to see just what it looked like to be together with other men that are learning learning the exact same things that he's learning. But he got to see me leading a group. And so, and we had already spent a lot of time together, many, many, many hours. But he got to see me leading the group, making mistakes. He got to see how I would try to gently work with somebody who's maybe talking too much in the group, or somebody who was having a tough day and they were getting emotional, that I would make room for them. He got to see all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And somebody who showed up late, what did I do then? So he got to see that. And then that group finished up, and then we had a few more months together and spending time. And then I was forming a CLC All-In group, and I invited this young man to be with me. And now he's 25 years old, and so he gets into the CLC All-In group. And me and the other co-facilitator, we asked him to join us, even to be a facilitator, because he was that ready. But he said, "No."
As a third facilitator?
Yeah. No. But I already knew even if he doesn't agree to be a facilitator, he's going to give so much to the group because he has a lot to give, and so we could encourage him all along the way.
Yeah.
And so me and my co-facilitator did encourage him, and friendships. He got to know some other men in the group and see that it's not just one person that you grow through and from. But all along, I'm spending time with him. I'm spending time with him every week. We would meet once a week, even outside of the CLC All-In group. And as things changed in his life, we would just change to different days.
So you've got this 2-hour, obviously, all-in meeting for sure. 5 days of homework he's doing on his own. Another meeting time every week that's just the two of you, one-on-one. And we're only a couple of years, 3 years into your relationship with this guy so far.
That's right.
What's next?
So we move along and we finish that all-in group. And then I wanted him to feel what it was like to have nothing happening in his life. Where is it that he is not giving away? What is it that does he see all this? And so we were reading books together. We read The Lost Art of Disciple Making. I've got a copy of it right here. We read this book, The Lost Art of Disciple Making.
And it's not just, though it's a valuable thing to spend time, it's intentional, to say the least. You were stoking the philosophy of making disciples into him while also spending time with him. But it's all on purpose.
Yes, because when he began reading that book, he realized, well, this is what you're doing with me.
Yeah, that's right. You put definitions on things that you'd modeled to him already.
Yes. And so then he started doing things. Now, I'll just back up. Even while we were in the CLC All-In group, he was spending time with college boys. We live in a college town. He was spending time with college guys that were young life leaders. And so he was deploying himself. But he was learning all along the way. He was doing some of the very things that I had done with him and for him. One day we were in the office together, and he was so honest and open. He said, I'm not sure I know how to pray. And so I said, what if both of us get down on our knees right now? And I remember I prayed a prayer from Colossians 1, 9 through 14. And I put his name in there. And so I just prayed that prayer for him. And slowly, and he could hear how I would pray for somebody else. And in some, the lights started coming on for him, and maybe in a new way. He had already been praying, but he just wanted to know more. And so I would take him on times when we would pray together, and so he could hear me pray, and then I could hear him pray.
Yeah.
And so teaching him all of these different things. So we finished that all-in group, and he's leading college boys, and then he does some more. Somebody asked him to be on a board, and he got on a board of a ministry, and that was good for him, and he grew there.
Probably still in his 20s, or how old is he?
He is. He's still in his 20s, and he's growing, and he is spending time with others, and he grew, and got guys in groups, and started even bringing men alongside him who were his close-up disciples, and leading a group with these guys. And he's done this more than once. And so now, at a certain point in his life, he becomes 30 years old. And between 30 and 31, I said, you're ready. You're launched. I mean, you're doing it. I'm going to still spend time with you, but it's not going to need to be as intensive as it's been in the past. But I still care about you, and I love you. And so this man he's now on the CLC city leadership team, and he cares so much about the work of CLC. He cares about the work in our city, and he knows what it means to make disciples. He's been discipled, and he wants to make disciples. And
it was an overnight journey, right? 7 years is what I heard. Age 24 to about 31.
Yeah.
And you could have started with him at 31 and he'd be 38. It's not the age, but we are talking about time.
Yeah.
That this is a long-term deal. Not 2 years with All In is long term, we're talking about a journey where proven pathways are used multiple times perhaps in a guy's life, and one-on-one time, and you may be there to celebrate the birth of his next child, and you're in his life, and you love him. You're sharing your own life as well, not just the gospel or a class. This is someone who's become dear to you.
That's right. We loved you so much that we shared with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well, because you'd become so dear to us. 1 Thessalonians 2:8. Yeah, it started when he was 23, actually.
Okay.
And to 31 now. And I'm still, right now, we're in a season, I'm still spending time with him. But he knows he's got all he needs. And when you think about, as the Apostle Paul went into these cities, he would appoint elders. And they grew over time, for sure, but it didn't take long for him to identify who these potential ones could be. But what I'm talking about is in our cities, in these modern times today, don't be afraid when you're spending many years with one faithful man. He's faithful. He's reliable. He does the assignments. He fulfills things. He really cares about the Great Commandment and the Great Commission. And so now that man has many guys that are following his, pointing them to Jesus.
Yeah. And if I can add to, because I know which guy you're talking about, there was a man in a 2-year all-in group of mine that was 24, and he left that group finished the group at 26. He's now 27, and he spends I think it's Thursday morning, but let's say Thursday morning at 5 a.m. in this man's garage. In other words, the man you've poured into is now doing that work of the ministry, making disciples with somebody that had been in my life that I'm just not that close to right now. He's one of my key men, like this man is for you, but he was in a group, he grew a lot, but the lights are really coming on now. I know, because I just had lunch with this guy, and he's talking about this garage that he's meeting in with a bunch of 27-year-olds in, we call him Scott's garage, and that's just amazing. To people that say, is it really worth it, all that time with one man? Well, what does that man do for Knoxville? What does that man do for a city? Yeah,
what difference has it been made in the city? And another piece of long-term discipleship that I want to tell you about is this. So, you spent a lot of time with that young man who was in your group, but I spent a lot of time with Scott, and now Scott is spending time with a man who was in your group, and so there's a long-term benefit of this. And so it's not just men can see, it's not just one person. We're all pointing men to Christ. And so when you're a good disciple maker, you point men to Jesus Christ, not to yourself. And so that is the main thing. Don't get men dependent on you. You can't handle it. It's not your place. You get them dependent on Jesus Christ. And so another part of long-term discipleship is exposing these men that are asking you to train them to other godly men who are in the community. And so, so that's a story about long-term discipleship, and we can talk more, but that's just one way to frame for you. So I hope it raises a lot of questions for you.